Of the Sea by Marc Gatschner. Fade in. Exterior Waimea Beach, dawn. An August sun rises out of the Pacific Ocean. Sharp, brilliant, beautiful. On the shoreline, waves roll, surfers prep, palm trees sway. Slap on a greetings from, and you've got yourself the perfect Hawaiian postcard. Interior, Rev's house, bedroom, dawn. Darkness settles over a quaint bedroom. The only source of light, the red glow of a digital clock, which now reads 6:23 in the a.m. On a time-worn bed, a weathered, bronzed chest heaves with a noticeable struggle. Covering the surrounding walls of the room, old surf photos, personal, not store-bought. A sudden rush of air passes over withered lips. An unhealthy cough follows. Along the bedroom's east side wall, a gentle wind blows against a pale white window shade, now being painted in orange and red hues by the dawning sun. Hearing nothing of the noise, Rev, 73, his weathered bronzed skin, hair white as snow, lies still in his bed. From just outside the east riverside window, morning birds begin to harmonize. Rev responds with an uncomfortable rustle. This slight movement causes his flannel sheets to slide off his body, revealing his naked torso. At the window, a single sunbeam slips past the fluttering shade and onto one of Rev's wall-mounted photos. On the photo, a young couple sit in the surf admiring the setting sun. Planted in the sand beside them, two worn-out elephant guns, surfboards. Back on Rev. The sunbeam slides off the photo and onto Rev, revealing every scar and wound endured from years of battling the surf. Suddenly his eyes pop open. Exterior, Waimea Beach, shoreline, dawn, 1963. Tranquil blue eyes stare ahead as Rev, now 24, body still bronzed, hair now brown, watches the sunrise from the comfort of his board, about 20 meters off the shore.
14 years and she still got you by the shorties, huh, brah?
Rev turns to the shore where Mark, 26, a native islander with a thick-set body and a welcoming smile, stands, eating some fresh papaya.
With an iron grip, brother.
He turns and begins to paddle in.
Chop going to be a problem today.
Stepping out onto the shore.
No, wind's not strong enough.
A goody day then.
Hope so.
He plants his board in the sand, then checks for marks.
Where's your chaser?
Up the way.
Mark nods to his left. Glancing over, Rev sees a group of about 20 people, all around his age, prepping for the day.
You waiting on him?
Waiting on breakfast. Can't surf on an empty stomach, brah. I get the shakes.
Seems like you can't do much of anything on an empty stomach. Can you, chunk?
I can think of one thing.
Yeah, eat.
Mark responds with a hearty laugh.
Maybe you should get some food in your belly too. Fuel yourself.
I will.
I know you will.
Rev holds on to Mark, thinks. Then, with a smile,
She's sending you to get me?
Mark throws him a wink.
I got time for one more ride.
Nope.
Rev smiles and turns. 10 meters up the shore, Sarah, 21, face soft, skin golden, body lean and muscular, walks through the break and towards Rev.
You don't eat, you don't surf.
Got a new rule?
Sure is.
And who's going to enforce that rule?
One guess.
She reaches Rev and immediately throws her arms around him, returning the embrace.
And how does a little girl such as yourself plan on enforcing that rule?
With ingenuity.
She leans in and gives him a light kiss. He smiles.
Now, isn't that just the most adorable goddamn thing?
Mark leans in and wraps his massive arms around the two.
Enough to make a grown man cry.
With a chuckle.
You got an idea how we can ditch this one?
One.
Turning to Mark.
Peppa just showed with a couple dozen eggs, questioning whether she should cook them now or save them for when she gets home.
That's right. Well,
Mark eases off and takes a step back.
I believe I have some persuading to do.
How you do, big man?
Mark turns from the two and heads towards the campfire.
You should keep this one, Rev. She's smart, knows the importance of a good meal.
Eyes locked.
Wise words.
He leans into her, his lips now hovering within inches of hers.
A good breakfast is important.
He holds, his forehead now resting against hers.
That what you took from what he said? Because I was thinking more about the other part. The keeping part. Maybe my ears are tuned just a little different than yours, huh, surfer girl? Yours to the mainland, mine to the homeland.
Shocked, Sarah pulls away from him. He regards her, but says nothing. With a forced smile and tears in her eyes, Sarah waves a demeaning finger at Rev, then turns to the ocean.
Sarah.
No response. With timid steps, Rev approaches her.
Hey.
He places his hands on her hips and tries to lean into her. She's stiff to his touch, though. He tightens his grip on her waist and begins to scan her over, every part of her, the crook of her neck, the scar on her shoulder, the sun through her hair.
Never been here, Waheen. Never felt this weight before. This pain.
She holds a moment, thinks. Then she latches onto his arms and pulls him in tight to her body. She needs to be held now, comforted. On the ocean, waves roll, the dawn rises, life moves. Back on the shore, Rev and Sarah watch with admiration, distant, and with a crack still in her voice.
You know, a normal person would see those waves and immediately think, whatever God they believe in, that they've got their feet firmly planted on the ground. But not you, Rev.
His lips hover along the back of her neck.
Instead, you see those waves as an invitation, like she's waving you to come in and join her.
And how do you know that?
Because that's what I see.
With a smile, he strokes her hair.
Whatever happened to that quiet little girl I knew?
She did what all little girls do, Rev.
She turns to him. Her eyes are soft now, moist.
She grew up.
Her cheeks begin to tremble as tears start to roll.
Hey.
Breaking, Rev pulls her in tight to his chest.
Can't fight the tide, Waheen. You know that.
Tremors run through her body as she sobs into his chest, fighting back tears of his own.
We both do.
Behind them, the sea rolls. Interior, Rev's house, kitchen, early morning, present day. Still half asleep, Rev walks into his kitchen, dressed only in a pair of shorts and loose-fitting t-shirt. At the kitchen sink, a small pile of dishes lie in an old plastic drying rack. With a shaking hand, he grabs a plate from out of the rack and sets it on the counter. He then slides open his kitchen window. The sudden sound of beach life rushes into the room. He holds a moment to take it in, then preps his breakfast, a glass of orange juice and 2 slices of toast. Meal in hand, Rev takes a seat at his kitchen table. His knees crack, a grimace follows. With disinterest, he begins to pick at his meal. Around him, the sounds of beach life fill the air. Exterior, Waimea Beach, shoreline, morning, 1963. 30 or so people now gather around a large bonfire. In the middle of it, 2 large cast-iron frying pans cook up a dozen or so eggs. 20 feet up the shore, an old woody station wagon sits on the beach. Its radio blaring 60s rock. In the back of the woody, Mark and Sarah slice up some pineapple.
You got a date yet?
An idea. Nothing set in stone, though.
Don't know why people say that. Set in stone. Not as strong as people think, you know. Can brave the road. Especially when waves are slamming them. Takini?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Of course you do. You got smarts.
He pops a slice of pineapple in his mouth.
Maybe that's why you said that though, huh, Wahine? Set in stone.
He smiles at her. She returns it, but says nothing. Suddenly, from their blind side, one of their crew, Gordo, late teens, limbs long and lanky, body well tanned, attempts to steal some pineapple. Mark catches him and tries to scare him off. With a mouthful of pineapple, Gordo scatters.
You're like a goddamn gulls. You see foods and you attack.
Hand to mouth, Sarah tries to stifle a laugh. At the bonfire, Rev watches Sarah with adoration.
So here's Rev, and I doing the Elmer Fudd walk. You know, the very quiet, I'm hunting rabbits.
With a finger to his lips, Gonzo, 31, body toned, hair a little longer than the rest, with a hint of silver, takes a moment to demonstrate the Elmer Fudd walk for everyone.
Anyways, so we get to the hen house, and I stand guard while Rev starts passing me the eggs. So I'm putting them in my shirt and watching the house to make sure the old man don't come out. And suddenly, I hear this devil dog barking from over at the barn. So I look over, and sure enough, this big junkyard dog is just barreling down on us, slobber pouring out of his mouth. So I turn to warn Rev, but when I do, I see the bastard's already halfway across the damn field!
The group erupts in laughter.
Don't like dogs.
You have 2.
They ain't possessed. That one was.
Good thing you ran then, huh?
Very good.
With a broad smile, Gonzo gives his head a shake. Then, with a full plate of pineapple in hand, Sarah takes a seat beside Rev. She offers him some, he accepts.
A lot of people out today, huh?
More coming.
He nods over to the bluffs, a set of stairs leading down from the road and onto the beach. Heading down them, another 20 or so people, all younger, kids almost.
Jesus, little group ain't so little anymore, is it?
That bother you?
She shrugs her shoulders, but does not answer.
Always a before and after, Sarah. That's the way it is. Before us the bull, before him the duke, and the cat, and soon enough we'll be the before, and they'll be the after.
A dumbfounded Sarah turns to Rev.
When'd you get so deep?
Couldn't lay all my talents out for you. Need a little mystery in life. A little something of my own.
He smiles and takes a bite of his pineapple. Sarah holds on to him, thinks. Then a sudden howl from the shore catches their attention. On the shoreline, a young boy, 12, rides the curl of a small wave. His legs, skinny as a fawn's and about as sturdy, hold tight in a stinkbug stance. His friends cheer for him, encourage him. He rides the wave out before flipping off his board. He pops up, a conquering smile on his face. His crew clap for him, celebrate him. At the bonfire, Rev's crew gives the boy a hearty cheer. They've all been watching, including Sarah and Rev. Leaning into Sarah.
They need this, just like you, like me. So who the hell are we to take it away from them?
She turns to him, smiles. Her lips part. Something is there, in her thoughts, but not on her tongue.
You two all right over there?
They turn to Gonzo, who, along with the rest of the crew, watch them with a smile. Rev blushes. Sarah does not.
There a reason we shouldn't be?
No reason. Just you two looked a little lost there for a second.
The crowd chuckles playfully.
Not at all.
Rev keeps his eyes on Sarah. Gonzo notices.
You know, Rev, in the 20 years I've known you, I've only seen you look at one other woman the way you look at this one.
Rev does not respond. Instead, a suddenly interested Sarah leads in.
And who was that?
Gonzo hesitates a moment. Then,
That blue bombshell beside you.
she glances to her right. The ocean shimmers under the rising sun.
Then I guess we both have another woman in our life.
Gonzo smiles, but gives Sarah a heedful look.
Promise you won't forget about us when you go to work on the mainland. Eh, little sister?
Sarah forces a smile.
I won't.
Rev glances over to see she is fighting to hold her emotions in check. Gently, he slips his hand into hers. From across the fire, Gonzo watches them. Suddenly, he smiles and raises his cup.
To the sea, and everything she gives us.
The crowd raise their cups in salute.
Hear, hear.
Content, Sarah nestles into Rev's shoulder. Interior, Rev's house, bathroom, afternoon, present day. Rev stands over his porcelain sink as cold water flows from his rusted tap and into his cupped hands. Once filled, Rev splashes the cool water upon his face. It immediately snaps him to attention. Refocused, Rev now looks upon himself in the mirror. Tiny beads of water run along the various creases and wrinkles of his weathered face. Slowly, he raises a hand to one of his sunken cheeks. With a slight hesitation, Rev takes his index finger and begins to trace over every wrinkle and crow's foot that have now taken residence upon his skin. His gaze soon falls from the reflection and onto the ledge of his sink, where a gold wedding band sits. Gently he picks it up and places it upon his ring finger. Exterior, Waimea Beach, shoreline, afternoon 1963. All 20 of the group now stand on the edge of the shoreline with boards in hand. Sensing the time is right, Gonzo grabs his board and hustles into the water. Without saying a word, the rest quickly follow suit, all except one. Waiting on the shore is Rev, now waxing his board.
Come on, you lazy shit.
Rev looks up with a smile. 20 meters out, Mark and Sarah wait for him.
2 minutes, big man.
Mark, shaking his head.
Out here, 2 minutes is a lifetime, brah. You know that.
Rev holds up 2 fingers, the peace sign or the time he needs. No matter, he continues to wax his board.
Shit. Just me and you then, Miss Sarah. You think you could keep up?
Rev peeks up to see Sarah smiling at him.
I'll do my best.
She throws Rev a slight smirk before turning to paddle out. Mark follows.
I'll see you in the green then, brah.
Rev flips the OK sign and continues to work on his board. After a moment, he stands, plucks the board in the sand, and inspects it. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he notices them. In the ocean, waves roll, surfers ride, Some crash and burn, others smooth as silk, but one stands out from the rest. One owns the sea. Rev tightens his gaze. Sarah rides a barrel. It bends for her, obeys her. This is her world now, her ride. With a serene look, Rev watches her, admires her.
Sarah of the sea.
A smile slides across his lips as he watches her ride. Exterior, Waimea Beach, shoreline, afternoon, present day. Rev stares out upon the new landscape of Waimea Beach. Gone are his friends, as well as his youth, replaced instead by wrinkled skin and a new world of surfers. He scans over the surfers. One stands out. A young surfer girl, 12, struggling to gain her bearings.
You can hold it, kiddo.
Rev turns. On the shore, just up from Rev, a young father, 32, body still strong, clothes still hip, watches his daughter with a nervous anticipation. The young girl fights to keep her balance. She's a scrapper, no doubt. Young, yes. Inexperienced, sure looks like it. A fighter, though, through and through.
Hold it, baby, hold it!
The wave folds. The ride ends. The girl has made it. She pops up and runs to her father. He meets her in the break and picks her up in his arms.
You owned it, Sarah. You totally owned it.
Rev's face twists upon hearing her name. The young girl pulls away from her father and paddles back out. Right back at it, her father now beaming on the shore, looking around for someone to celebrate with. He turns to Rev. Their eyes lock. Rev gives him a nod. The father, tears in his eyes, nods back. Exterior, Waimea Beach, the ocean, afternoon, 1963. With an extreme grace, Rev glides across a wave. There is no fight here, no resistance. He rides it like it is part of him, like they are one. With a gentle ease, he lowers his hand down and skims it across the water. On either side of Rev, a dozen other surfers all ride their own waves. White water chases the crew as they ride their curls. Soon, though, the sun begins to set, and the waves begin to die down. Slowly, everyone begins to head in, everyone except Rev. Alone on his board, Rev watches his friends head back to the shore.
What are little boys made of?
Rev turns off to his side. Sarah paddles towards him.
Snips and snails and puppy dogs' tails.
With a gentle bump, she glides into his board.
And what are little girls made of?
The orange hue of the setting sun lights Sarah's face. The image locks Rev up. He cannot answer her. He can only stare, his mouth agape, his eyes unblinking.
Should I answer for you?
A smile slides across his face, but still no response.
Sugar and spice and everything nice. That's what little girls are made of.
He nods. Their eyes lock. They hold a moment. Finally,
You ready to come in?
with a slight hesitation,
About that time, I guess.
she smiles and shakes her head.
Let me see your hands.
What?
It's what my mama used to do, check my hands.
She grabs them.
If they were too wrinkled, it was time to come in.
He pulls them back and laughs. Sarah shares in the moment with a laugh of her own. Then,
I'm not going, Rev.
shocked, Rev can only stare at her. Her body shakes. Her voice trembles.
Told my parents already. Weren't happy, but choices, right? The one thing that's ours in this life.
She looks down, her composure faltering.
You have a job waiting.
I'm in life here.
Still thrown,
What's your plan then?
Surf? Take some time? Figure things out? Hell, maybe I'll become a surf queen. You imagine that, me riding for a living?
she lowers her head as though embarrassed by even thinking the idea.
You could do it, Sarah.
She looks up with a sarcastic smirk.
You got something. Style we don't have.
I'm half the rider you are.
Bullshit.
She stares at him, reads him. He's serious about this.
I am what I am, Sarah. But you're still growing. Every day, every ride, you're a little better. I see it, we all do.
Tears roll down her flushed cheeks. She wipes at them.
World could use you, Sarah. You could show them.
Show 'em what?
Rev smiles.
Gidget ain't us, ain't you. She's an idea. You're the real thing. And you could show them, other girls, what it means, what this means. To you, to us.
Sarah looks to the sky and shakes her head. She's still not buying it.
And what about you?
I'd ride your wake. Set up some surf classes. Be known as the man that taught Sarah Lynn, surf queen of Waimea.
And us?
Always us. Always.
She smiles and wipes another tear away.
You thought this through?
Over and over.
She holds on to him. He does not turn from her. Trying to keep her cool.
You got about 20 minutes before that sun sets. You wait it out, maybe you can catch one more ride.
What about you?
She turns and begins to paddle in.
I'll be waiting for you on the shore, Rev.
You promise.
She holds a moment, turns back, a smile on her face.
Always.
He holds on to her, even as she turns and heads back to the shore. Then, under his breath,
My Sarah of the sea.
interior doctor's office, afternoon, present day. Rev stares ahead. His eyes are blank, his expression solemn. Across from him, a doctor, 32, hip, well-maintained, a hint of elitism flowing from him, tries conversing with Rev, who pays little attention. The doctor's voice, but a murmur. Rev turns and looks out the window. An afternoon sun flickers through the giant leaves of a mature palm tree. The murmur grows. It becomes clearer.
It won't just be your mind that is unable to function, Rev. It's going to be your body as well. You'll forget how to breathe, how to eat. In time, your everyday functions will go.
Rev continues to stare out the window.
Rev. Rev, do you understand what I'm telling you?
Rev turns to the doctor and manages a forced smile.
Wheel ain't broke yet, Doc. Just a little loose. So yeah, I get what you're telling me.
The doctor takes a deep breath and resets.
Rev, these incidents you're having, these hiccups, as you call them, they're going to get worse. And now there are homes you can...
I have a home.
I know you do. And for now you can stay there, just as long as you have someone watching over you, helping.
I have that.
Of what?
Someone to watch over me.
Good, that's good. It's a start. Now, I think that it would be in everyone's best interest if perhaps all three of us sat down and discussed exactly what this case would entail.
This case.
Yes. Could we do that?
Rev smiles, nods.
Sure.
Good. And good. How about we look at...
His voice fades as Rev once again turns to the window. Shadows dance. Sun holds high. Life moves. Exterior, Waimea Beach. Shoreline, evening, present day. The tide rolls across Rev's feet as he looks out onto the ocean, his board planted beside him. It has grown dark, and the beach crowd has all but disappeared. Once again, Rev is alone on the beach. Gradually, he closes his eyes and takes a deep breath. Interior, Rev's house, front hall, earlier. With his old longboard in hand, Rev walks down his front hall. On the walls behind him, old pictures. He stops to stare at them. A timeline of Rev and Sarah. Photos of them, young and in their prime. Sarah at surf championships and on the cover of magazines. Rev teaching surf classes on the beach, opening a shop. The two growing old together, living their life together. A good life. His eyes lock on a particular photo. It is of a sickly Sarah, as she lies with Rev in a hospital bed. On her lap, a small birthday cake. Her head is covered by a bandana, and her eyes are sunken and worn, but still she manages a loving smile. Slowly, he brings an arthritic-infested hand up to his mouth. He kisses his index and middle finger, then gently places them upon the picture of his loved one.
Always us, Sarah. Always.
An emotional smile hangs on his face.
I miss you so much.
His cheeks suddenly begin to shake as the pain becomes too much.
All right.
With a nod, Rev turns and heads out the front door. Exterior, Waimea Beach, shoreline, evening, present day. The rising tide rolls across Rev's feet as he stands alone on the darkened shores of Waimea Beach. He stares out onto the sea with tear-filled eyes. Giant waves roll across the sea. A sudden laugh escapes Rev. He shakes his head and wipes his eyes.
If you insist.
With a renewed confidence, he grabs hold of his old longboard and makes his way into the ocean. Fighting for every inch, Rev pushes his tired legs through the shore break before finally dropping his board. Immediately, he jumps on and paddles out. Arms burning and back aching, Rev pushes through a seemingly endless amount of snappers. He scours the ocean. Nothing. Suddenly, his eyes tighten. A smile. Ahead, a perfect set of three. Exterior, Waimea Beach, the ocean, dusk, 1963. The sun has set, and the ocean remains still. The day has drawn to a close. With a look of disappointment, Rev paddles back inland. Suddenly, a light sea breeze whips past his ear. With a slight hesitance, he turns back one last time. 30 feet out, a large swell rises from the ocean. With a thankful smile, Rev paddles towards the ever-growing wave. Exterior, Waimea Beach, ocean, evening, present day. Rev struggles to stand, as a large wave now bears down on him. His knees and body ache, but he refuses to give up. Summoning every ounce of strength he has left, Rev pushes his worn and tired body up just in time to catch his wave. Exterior, Waimea Beach, ocean, dusk, 1963. With the sun quickly making its final descent into the ocean, Rev rides out his last wave. It carries him almost right to the shore before finally letting him go. With a thankful smile, Rev stands waist deep in the darkening water. He glances towards the shore. There on the beach is Sarah. With a look of comfort on his face, Rev steps out of his world of liquid and into Sarah's arms. Exterior, Waimea Beach, ocean, dusk, present day. With his body and mind at peace, Rev cuts through a barrel like he did so many years ago. His aged body begins to struggle with the powerful wave, but still he remains standing. Finally, the wave tosses him into the drink. After a moment, he bobs back up from the swell. As he wipes the sea from his eyes, Rev stares onto the shore. No one, not a single soul. With a nod, Rev pulls his shaking body back onto his board. It takes everything he has. Exterior, Waimea Beach, shoreline, dusk, 1963. 2 longboards sit planted in the sand. Beside them, Rev sits on the beach, cuddled into his chest is Sarah. The two stare out onto the setting sun. Over their shoulder, a camera flashes. They do not notice. With a look of agony, Rev stretches out his left leg.
Your knee again?
Seems it.
With a smile,
Winter's catching you, Rev.
Chasing, not catching.
What's the difference?
Her hooks. She catches you, gets those meat hooks into you,
he digs his fingers into her side. She squirms, laughs.
and it's over. No more open fires, no more waves, no more beach life. Instead, you plant your board, you throw on a shirt, and you run with the rats. So until then, I'll let her keep chasing.
Snickering,
You sound scared, Pen Man.
forcing a laugh.
'Cause I am.
His laugh fades. His grip tightens. Sarah looks down. His knuckles are white, his grip strong. She pulls a hand free and wraps it around his.
It rolls, Rev. Like those bad mothers you ride every day, life rolls.
She runs her thumb along the back of his hand.
So when you're out there by yourself and you got no backup riding with you, and no lifeguard on the shore, when it's just you and the sea, and she's throwing thunder at you, what do?
No answer. She turns to him, her eyes tight now, serious.
What do, Rev?
Hesitating,
I ride.
she smiles at him.
Then that's what you'll do.
She turns back to the sea. Dark now, unknown.
When the time comes and life rolls up on you, you'll ride it.
His grip softens.
You feel it though, that fear on you, that weight. Just remember, I'll be here for you, Rev. I'll always be here for you, waiting for you to come back in, waiting for you to come back to me.
Rev leans into Sarah and rests his head on her shoulder.
The day you're not here is the day I don't come back in.
He pulls her in tight, her eyes welling with tears.
I love you, Sarah.
Don't you though?
A slight chuckle. Then, soft now,
I love you too, Rev. Always.
the sun sets. The water darkens. On the empty shore, a shadowed couple embrace. Exterior, Waimea Beach, ocean, dusk. Waves pound an empty beach. The sky darkens. Everyone has headed home. Everyone except one man. In the shadow of the lowering sun, a lone surfer continues to ride his wave. Fade out.